Hello, I'm Horceror. I want to find out what makes every single killer tick. There's one big glaring issue with that though. I play the Nemesis, essentially only the Nemesis. I physically cannot get thousands of hours of experience on every single character. So, I'm going to be interviewing people that do have those thousands of hours. One for every single killer. Welcome to Stars of the Fog. Alright, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stars of the Fog. During this episode, we're going to be talking to Huntress, and my guest here, a notable Huntress player. Would you like to introduce yourself and give us some credentials, what you're known for, all of that?
What I'm known for? Definitely just Huntress. I pretty much only exclusively play Huntress. My name's SquirtleSurgeon. I pretty much gained popularity from posting clips on Twitter. Some of them did pretty good, and now I just do things that you probably shouldn't be able to do with her.
And I'm speaking from experience when I say this, you are a nightmare to play against, because I was in one of those compilations, and yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was like, you have a great frame of reference for what it's like.
The personal experience, don't get this guy in your lobby. You'll know it's him, trust.
You'll know.
So, Squirtle, what got you into Dead by Daylight, and when did you start?
So, I'm like a super OG player. I've been playing for 8.5 years.
Sure.
I started playing because one of my friends asked me to play, like way back, right when the game first came out. They bought me the game, and we would try to survive with friends, which wasn't a thing back then. So you had to just lobby snipe each other. And then I didn't really play for like I had an account reset back then, so I didn't want to play. My friend stopped playing, didn't play for like almost a full year, and then came back and have been severely addicted ever since.
I'm kind of the same. Started in 2017, quit, then I came back, and then here we are. So
here we are.
So as far as like, addicted sense, what made you decide to main Huntress specifically? You already answered like you played Survivor first, but about how long did you play Survivor before A, you became a killer main, and B, you started Huntress specifically?
It's actually interesting because most people don't really expect this. I played Survivor for almost like 3,000 hours before I like played Killer almost at all. I only exclusively played Survivor, and I would play Killer for dailies. Like I was that player.
I mean, at least you played the dailies.
Yeah, right. So I very rarely played Killer at all. And then every now and then I would play Huntress and find her kind of interesting, but she always felt really awkward to me because I also like first person shooters. Like right now I play a lot of Valorant and I played a lot of Overwatch back then. But like because it was like projectile based, it always felt kind of weird to me. So I didn't play her that much. And the first killer I actually got into was Hillbilly. I played Hillbilly a lot. I found him really fun. I almost stopped playing Survivor entirely to just play Hillbilly. And then some point I played Huntress again with some friends, and I was just really good at her, like for no reason right away after not touching her for a long time. And it just felt really fun again. And then they nerfed Skybilly stuff, so I no longer had interest in him because that's what I like doing the most. I was like, why don't I just play Huntress now? And then I haven't stopped.
So would you say that the initial like draw to them was just, well, they blew up Billy and I was already kind of popping off on Huntress, and then that was like where it was?
Pretty much, yeah.
And when do you feel like you really got Huntress? Like, when do you feel like you locked in and you're like, okay, I am a Huntress player. I understand how to play this. Like, I feel pretty confident in most of my games. Like, how long did that take too?
Honestly, it only took like a month. Yeah, I played her a lot right away. And I pretty much instantly was just like, yep, I've got the mechanics down. I'm good.
Throw hatchet, hit hatchet.
Pretty much.
And this one isn't like really a general question as much, but like specifically, when did you start learning all the wacky stuff on Huntress? Like orbitals, 2-taps, like when did that happen? Because I feel like that's like kind of the literal going through the skill ceiling,
Yeah, yeah. I started going for orbitals in the PTB that they unlocked her like look angle. Like as soon as they did it, I was like, I want to do this because I love gimmicky stuff like that. That's always been one of my favorite things in games, hence why I played Hillbilly. I played Hillbilly for Skybilly. I didn't play him for his base mechanics. I played him for a gimmick that I just found super interesting and fun to mess with. So as soon as that was a possibility, I was spending all of my time on orbitals. And then the first double tap is the one that blew up on Twitter because Kaido quote retweeted it, and that was the start.
Yeah, I legitimately have never seen anyone get 2-tapped until I came across you doing it. So it was definitely like a wow, I didn't even know that was possible type of thing for me, at least.
Yeah. I think my like bold claim is I think I was the first Huntress player to get consistent at double taps. I wouldn't even say now I'm the most consistent anymore. I think there's a couple people who probably hit them slightly more consistently than I do, especially with like the gen aura trick that Max found. But I was doing them before that was figured out. So I feel like I was probably the first one to be consistent, quote unquote. Shout out Max. Max is a crazy Huntress.
Okay, I can assume what you're going to answer this with, but specifically, if you had to pick one thing about Huntress, the absolute most enjoyed part of your killer, like a tech, a visual, cosmetic, a sound, anything, what would be the number one thing for you?
I definitely think it's like very specifically, it's the weird things that you can do that people don't expect.
Okay.
So obviously double taps when it first came out, nobody was expecting that to ever be a thing. So that was amazingly fun. And then even now, finding holes in objects that you can throw hatchets through is also super enjoyable for me still. And hitting people with it that have never seen them before. And also hitting really precise hatchets across map. Like things like that that you can't do on any other killer.
Oh, I'm totally sure a trickster could snipe you across the map, you know? You just have to do it
totally.
like this 7 times.
7 times in a row before you find something to hide behind.
Yeah, exactly. And in a similar vein, what is your absolute least favorite thing? Like same tech, visual, cosmetic, sound, whatever.
The fact that she's a 110.
Yeah.
I hate that she's a 110. Obviously, it's for balance reason. I get it. But man, does being 110 suck sometimes. It feels awful.
Do you ever feel like maybe they could fix that by adding like another tier to speeds? Like instead of just like 110, 105,
yes,
115?
One of my hot takes, I've said this for a very long time. I think there should be a speed in between 110 and 115 that is 112.5.
I think that would be good.
And I think Huntress, Trickster, and Deathslinger should all be that.
For sure. Hashtag revert Trickster, by the way. But
that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's still not great. So
I mean, still, but like, I'm not going to go off on that.
He's
tangent.
just more annoying.
I want to talk about that during Trickster episode, let me tell you. But, and just while we're on the topic of like, you know, things you enjoy, things you don't enjoy, what is your favorite map and your least favorite? And like, this can be a personal thing, of course, but are these the same maps as your killer's best and worst maps?
Kind of. My new favorite is Dead Dog. It used to be Coldwind, but actually my favorite realm in general was Coldwind, both on Survivor and any killer for like 6 years. And then once they did the graphical rework, I started liking it less, but I was still chill with it. And then once they added like the random stuff in the middle of the corn, they started making it feel like every other map. So no longer up there. So now Huntress is Dead Dog. I love Dead Dog. It's definitely also one of her best maps, so that adds to it. But it's just so open, and there's a lot of really fun hatchets you can do that people don't know about. So it's like a best of both worlds type of thing.
Do you have any specific examples? Like, not to, you know, give away the secrets or anything, but, you know, it's more of a, you know, it's pretty cool, you know, can do this.
I have a lot on that map. One really fun one that people still don't know about is in main building upstairs, you can throw through one of the boarded windows because one of the wooden planks doesn't have collision.
I think there's one of those downstairs as well, because I know you can get beamer saves through it, right?
So that is different.
Okay.
That is a swinging one, so it has an animation, so it doesn't interact with beamers correctly.
Okay.
But flashlights and hatchets have different hitboxes.
I would hope so. Be a bit nervous.
You'd be surprised at how many things share hitboxes, okay? Like,
I mean,
it's concerning.
Yeah, be a little nervous if a flashlight had a hatchet hitbox, though.
Hey, when the game first came out, they did. Hillbilly would bump on flashlight beams.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a real thing.
Okay, yeah.
So don't put it past behavior.
Okay. All right. So the next few questions are a little bit less like favorite type deals, just more like in general stuff. Say killer cosmetics, right? Huntress has a good bit of them. Do you feel like she has enough cosmetics or like not enough cosmetics? Is there in a vacuum, say you get complete power creatively, would you have a specific skin be made? And what is your absolute favorite cosmetic set?
I think Huntress is perfectly fine where she's at in cosmetics. She has a lot. She's been given a lot over time, but she's also one of the original characters, so it's like, it makes sense.
I would hope
she has
so
an extremely high pick rate. Like, I think for the amount of people that play her amount of cosmetics, it makes sense. I like a select few of Huntress cosmetics, though. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of them, to be honest with you.
My really favorite, don't like the Red Queen one.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I also don't like the hooked on you skin.
I'm not going to say anything.
It's so plasticky to me that it just doesn't look good.
That's fair.
And then some of the other sets are like not great in my opinion. But also people will make fun of me because my The head I run is Boarhead, which is like the most hated Huntress head.
The pig.
I love Boarhead. I don't know why people hate it so much. I don't think it looks bad at all. And at this point, I'm running it just as a statement.
I mean, if
Boarhead
it's,
supremacy.
if it's hated and you like it, then it's your thing, you know? Like, it's not
Exactly.
like a common...
Nobody else runs it, so there you go. I will say, if I were to give her a cosmetic, though, I really want to give her a gas mask cosmetic.
Similar to the Nerfs one.
Yeah. I just think it would look really good with the World War set, and I think it would be really cool to have a Huntress with a gas mask. I feel like that's creepy.
And like,
and
it kind of works for the lore, because she's like specifically killing army members in her lore, so, you know,
Yeah,
it would make
exactly.
sense.
I feel like that'd be really cool.
And a little bit more on the lore, just because I love segues that work. Do you enjoy your killer's lore, or is it just like strictly a playstyle thing, or like a little bit of both?
Honestly, I don't play her for her lore at all. It's like fully separate in my head.
I mean, that's fair. It's
But I
just
don't mind
kinda
her lore. I will say, she is the one killer that I feel bad for.
The only one?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to be honest with you.
What about Spirit?
I mean, yes, but not to the extent of Huntress.
Okay.
Because Huntress is like, she was trying her best, man. That was all she knew.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of like, I do really like how Dead by Daylight has like tragic characters, they have bad characters, they have good characters, and there's just like a whole, you know, spectrum of how things are, rather than just like, the killer is evil. That's it. That's the lore. But yeah, I just kind of, I enjoy when their writing team actually does good writing, you know?
It is very enjoyable.
And I want to say my last little silly question here is, how frequently do you run into like fans of your killer or antis? And how do you feel like the community feels about your killer in general, and why?
Oh god, people hate Huntress. I think she's probably one of the most hated, like top 3 of all time in the game. I think the main reason is people, okay, it splits into like 3 things. 1, people don't understand what her hitbox looks like, slash what the survivor hitbox looks like. So there's a level of like, that doesn't make sense to me, so I don't like it, which is fair. I'm not saying it's not fair.
It looks like
But
shit sometimes,
I think,
absolutely.
oh yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot of people who, once they learn the hitbox, they're much more okay with Huntress. And they're like, okay. 2, people who are very upset about the poor servers, because a lot of hits are ping-based and not really hitboxes even at that point. So that's like the other realm. And again, cannot blame those people. The servers suck. You get a lot of hits that look bad. And then 3 is like, she's been in the game for so long that people are very sick of constantly playing against her because she's such a high pick rate killer. And I think it creates this like 3-way amalgamation of just pure hatred in the community.
Yeah, I definitely feel the ping stuff though. Because, you know, I played Nemesis. I'm not exactly...
Yeah, he has a similar issue on that one.
Very similar issue on that one. And what about like, you know, fans of your killer? You know, stuff like Morimi Huntress, you know, etc.
I actually never run into like thirst names of her. However, I have had interactions where if there's a map with a bet on it, the survivor will beckon me towards it.
Every time that happens to me, I just kind of get uncomfortable. Like, at least buy me dinner first, you know?
It's happened to me several times. So that happens occasionally.
Hell yeah. Okay, let's go back into the serious questions. Serious questions, serious answers. How would you rate your killer personally in terms of strength, and why? Not just like, well, obviously they're this tier, but like your own reasoning based on your experience, and like say like a 50-hour player versus like a 10,000-hour player, if they have differences, of course.
Right. I feel like Huntress is pretty middle of the road, like middle B, high B tier. I don't think she pushes into A for a couple of reasons. One is that she's very limiting based on the map that you're on. She's obviously not good on indoor maps. She's not good on some of the outdoor maps. And then she's really good on some maps. She's a very map dependent killer. That's 1. 2, if you know how to play against a Huntress, you can deny a lot of pressure very easily. She's one of like the most counterable killers in my opinion, once you learn how people play her.
Yeah, I have a clip about that type of thing during a Swift night. I don't actually have the clip anymore. But like, I just was running her around a rock, and I was just hugging it so tightly that I got around the rock like 5 times before she was able to go for an M1. She missed, and then she DC'd. So I 100% get the like, once you know what to do type of thing. Because it was like, it's too tall for her to pull out the hatchet, and then she's too slow to like mind game it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a genuine strategy. It's like, if you don't know what to do, just find a object that's as tall as you and just run around it as many times as you can, and you will get like a 30-second chase sometimes out of it. Like, it's stupid.
And would you say that really changes between like the amount of hours you have on the killer? Because like the inconsistency of maps, absolutely, like that makes sense. But like as far as skill-based tier listing.
So what I will say about why I would keep her still leaning towards the higher tier is that when you put a lot of hours into her, you are able to capitalize on survivors' mistakes much more efficiently because of her range and because she has unlimited range.
And if you run out in the open, you just get two-tapped like a bot. So
yeah, like there is definitely like, if you play poorly, you will get destroyed very quickly. And also she's really good at camping, which sucks because that's another reason people hate her. She's really good at camping.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, self-glaze myself, but I actually like just brought up this idea in one of my last videos where I talk about like Dead by Daylight, how we can improve it, etc. And one of my main things was the anti-camp meter. I was actually bringing up how I think it should be different ranges for different killers, and like Huntress would definitely be the one that had like the largest thing going up. Like if you had line of sight on it, you were just staring him down with the hatchet up, like it would go up type deal. What do you think about that?
I definitely think it would be better if it was based on line of sight.
For sure.
The only issue when you like increase range and stuff is when you start getting two-story maps.
It was definitely like a very
yeah,
it was already a very like slippery slope type of idea. So like it was just more of like it would need refining type thing, but in general, it would be good to have, I think.
I think line of sight is a good.
And they could change the anti-camp per killer maybe, as far as like how it works.
I think that'd be fine. I think it'd be really complicated for them for a while, but I think eventually it would be fine.
Like in the long run, for sure. While we're talking about balance, how do you feel about your add-ons? Do you think they're balanced, overtuned, undertuned? Any favorite add-ons you like running? And do you think any of them are overpowered or extremely underpowered?
I think Windup is overtuned still.
Windup add-ons or passive?
Both.
Okay.
I don't think she needed that passive given to her. And if they did give it the passive, they needed to nerf Windup more, which they didn't do. So that was really interesting to me. Yeah, I don't think Windup needs to be where it's at. I think it's really strong. Obviously, the most used one is Babushka, but also, what is it called? Is it Grass Bead? It's a yellow. Like,
I'll put it here. It's fine.
Remembering.
I'll find it. Don't worry.
I can visualize it. I just don't remember the name.
No, just go on. It's fine. I'll get it later.
Yeah, I think Windup is overtuned. I think Haft is slightly overtuned, but not enough where it's like a problem. I feel like
it's just good.
It's one of those, it's just good and it feels good. And that's kind of what some add-ons should be, in my opinion.
Good, feels good.
But the combination of them is kind of disgusting. So I don't know about that. And then all of our other add-ons are kind of dismissible, other than Wooden Fox, which removes your aura when you search a locker, or your terror radius when you search a locker.
You still have the Humbo, but it's very confusing to play against, I guess, if you're not like locked in.
Well, and it's not directional lullaby anymore, so it's like
they're approaching I don't know where from.
Yeah. So, and especially on like indoor maps, that add-on can be like really disorienting.
Absolutely. So like at least she has something going for her in indoor maps then.
Right. It's just the fact that it's like locked behind an add-on is like, well,
yeah. But like it's interesting add-on design at least where, it's a unique playstyle type thing. You could sneak around more with it.
I think Soldier's Pute should be base kit.
Can you give us your reasoning for that?
I think they're getting better at it, which is locker placement on maps. But there are still some maps where you will run out of hatchets and you will have to walk very far in order to reload. And the fact that, again, you are walking with no power as a 110 to reload, really brutal. And I feel like giving her 115 with no hatchets as base kit would be perfectly fine. I don't think it would.
Do you think they would be able to do that like in chase too, or just like passively? Because it would kind of be a reward for missing like 7 hatchets, So if they did it like just out of chase, maybe, so you could go reload quicker, walk around the map quicker, get places.
I think even in chase it's fine because you're 115 with no power.
That's fair. And you would
if you're getting hit by 115 with no power after they miss 7 hatchets, something's up. Okay, like. So I think 115 base kit, with no hatchets is fine.
Okay.
I think that would be a good change.
And this one, I don't think it's like super duper problematic as when it first came out, but this is something I wanted to bring up because I like just had a game against this that was like really lame. What is your thought on Iridescent Head?
It's really boring.
That's kind of what I said too.
It's not, how do I explain it? It's like
it's not OP. It's like just really annoying.
It's just really annoying and really boring.
Yeah. My
I don't know.
hot
I don't have
take.
much else to say about it.
Yeah, my hot take is that I don't think exposed add-ons should exist. Like, I think I'm fine with it being in base kit. Like, so, like, you know, Cannibal, Hillbilly, Myers, like, stuff like that. Like, that's fine to me. Like, that's, you know, it's made in their kit. But when you have a killer that's made around, like, you know, here's the one hit that you get in 99% of your games, and like, oh, actually, that's insta-downing you this time. I think that's bad design, personally. Yeah, so, like, Wesker, Clown, Huntress, I would just throw those away. And that's, like, that's my opinion. Of course, no, you don't have to agree with it, but just, like, improve survivor experience or whatever. I don't know.
That is fair.
Oh man. Okay. So this is actually a really fun question because I learn a lot from it. Does your killer have any bugs or techs that maybe aren't super well known or some that are known? Of course, we did talk briefly about, you know, the two tapping and cross mapping and orbitals, but do you have like really in-depth bugs or really in-depth techniques, anything like that?
I really think it is just like the amount of things that you can actually throw hatchets through, I think is something that people just have no idea about.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a series like that for Nemesis, so I agree 100%.
But when it comes to like bugs and stuff like that, she really doesn't have many. She's actually a pretty stable killer for the most part.
Insane to say
I think
about
the
Dead by Daylight.
worst. I know, right? Like that's crazy. Like her worst bugs are server desync related, not her related.
Yeah.
So like hatchets hitting and then not injuring. That's server desync. That's not Huntress's problem.
You don't really like the blood splat, scream, no injury thing?
Oh, it's so fun. What do you mean? But outside of that, like she has a couple like animation bugs. That's kind of it. Like there really isn't anything crazy.
What animation bugs are they? Because I can't say I've seen them.
I just mean like every couple of patches, she'll just have one of her animations not work correctly.
Do you think
Like
of any right now?
8 months, yeah, like 8 months ago, they broke her aim because when you were throwing a hatchet, your wrist would like break.
Oh,
like,
I do remember
the animation
that.
for it. So they tried fixing the animation, but in fixing the animation, one, they didn't really fix the animation. It just looked slightly better. Two, they made it so your aim was permanently slightly down and to the right.
So everyone that
Like-
had thousands of hours just lost their muscle memory overnight.
Yeah, we all instantly were like, nope, that's not right. That's not. So that was fun. I actually have a tweet about that, like, ancient on my timeline somewhere. So that was one that was like, that's cool. But then after like a patch, they fixed it. Now her wrist just kind of wiggles weird. That's about it.
Oh, my wrist.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the whole, this is, you know, kind of the hot button issue at the moment, like the Go Next Epidemic, and what are your like opinions on it, and how often do you have people disconnecting or going next on hook against you specifically?
So I actually almost never have people DC against me.
Really?
Maybe it's because maybe it's like a West Coast thing because I play on West. I don't know, but
I definitely experience it here.
I don't have people DC against me on my Huntress.
What about like going next on hook? Because that would still be technically
Yeah,
like,
almost never.
that's kind of crazy actually.
It's super rare. Occasionally, if I like, I don't know, even when it happens, it's like, it's never instant. It's like on their like third hook. They're just like fed up and they DC.
Like after they would be dead on the next hook anyway?
Yeah.
I never really get that. Like just take the blood points at that point, you know?
Like I get that more often than I get like insta disconnects or like give ups on first hook.
It's actually kind of unique from like everyone I've spoken to so far.
I know, because I have friends complain about it all the time, and I'm always like, I don't have that.
And it doesn't seem to be a me issue. But like that's actually really funny because you were just talking about how you thought she was the most hated, but then like you're the lowest disconnect rate. Well, I mean, it's only been like 5 interviews, but like so far, so that is really interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, I said one of the most hated.
Well, yeah, I didn't mean like the most if I said it.
Also, I also think she's like vocally more hated than most.
Oh, vocally 100%. Because like one of my best friends, Kurta, like she's pretty chill. She does not like Huntress like at all.
I feel like she gets under people's skins more often rather than just like, I don't like them.
Yeah, but like again, I feel like that's more of a server thing than a killer thing.
Probably.
It's just like one other ingredient in the pot. So when you personally play against Huntress, do you enjoy playing against Huntress, and why or why not? And like, what is the most frustrating part about playing against your killer from the survivor point of view?
Yeah, I love playing against Huntress. She's my favorite killer to play against. And she was even before I played Huntress. Like, I just love her, like, counter of... It feels like every decision you make has to be intentional to like correctly counter her at a lot of loops. Aside from when you're in the open, and then you can just button mash, and then if you don't know what you're doing, the Huntress doesn't know what you're doing. So the chances of her hitting you are very low. But like on tiles and stuff, I love her counterplay. I think it's really fun. I think it's very interactive. Definitely the most annoying part is just ping. Like if you have bad ping and you just get hit by something that you shouldn't have gotten hit by. But that's my criticism for almost every killer. Kind of just a DBD thing more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them just feel a lot worse. Like, you know, range killers, Blight, Nemesis. Like, Nemesis takes like 4 seconds to take a tentacle or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's when it comes down to that stuff, it's just ping, not fun.
And, you know, while we're talking about survivor experience type stuff, you know, this is a fun one, of course. How do you feel about like win streaking on Huntress? And do you feel comparatively it's easy to win streak on them? And do you personally enjoy it? If so, why?
I think win streaking on Huntress is probably one of the hardest killers to win streak on, despite her being up tiers. Again, going back to like because of her map like dependability. It's the same reason that she's like underperforms in comp. It's like if you get people who know what they're doing, you just don't have the resources or time or anything to stop them. Like they can just power through it and your game's over in a very short period of time, no matter how much pressure you think you can apply.
For sure.
So win streak on her, hard. I respect people who do it. I kind of want to try it at some point to see, but also like I'm not the type of Huntress player who goes for like chase downs quickly. I go for really stupid stuff. So I don't know how good I do.
Way, so I feel it 100%. I did like a very chill win streak where it was like, you know, 1 kill is a loss, 2 is a tie, and then 3 or 4 I get a point. And like I got to like 18 games, and then I ran into like Albi and Skirms, and they took my streak. I'm like, well, but it was like very casual, you know. I wasn't really like sweating my nuts off. I was just like, well, I guess I'll try. I guess I'll take a note of it, but it was whatever. And as far as like win streaking stuff goes and, you know, just, you know, counterplay and things like that, what are like some very common misconceptions about Huntress? Like, is there something you wish, like, if you could just beam a thought into every Dead by Daylight player's brain, like, what do you wish people understood? Like, if there's a common grievance people have against them, like, if there's obvious counterplay that's not being used, like, anything like that.
Oh, absolutely. Just like what the survivor hitbox and what the Huntress hitbox actually looks like.
100%, because Huntress
like
hitbox
that's it.
Like,
that's because the other problem is that she has 2 hitboxes. Her hatchet itself
is like a
has
circle.
a environment hitbox.
Really?
So the environment hitbox is very small. It's tiny. That's why you can throw through so many weird things. It's very small, and that's what interacts with the environment. And then there's a player interaction hitbox that is much bigger, that is even bigger than the hatchet, that is literally a sphere. It's not shaped like the hatchet, it is a circle. And that hatchet hitbox is the one that people just don't understand, because they're like, well, how can I get hit behind the wall, but the hatchet can go through this tiny wall, like this tiny hole? And the simple answer is they're different hitboxes. They're separate from each other entirely.
I mean, I'm not like so big of an ego that I won't admit it. I genuinely didn't even know that. So that is a common misconception that was just explained to me personally too.
Like very few people know that.
And I hope I will get more people to know that.
I hope so too. Learn your hitboxes.
And as far as learning goes, is there like a general advice you'd want to give people that are starting out playing Huntress for the first time? Aside from
patience is key. Learn hitboxes. Patience is key. Don't insta throw all your hatchets. It's really, really tempting to a lot of the time, but especially when you're learning, just take your time with hatchets. It's okay to hold your hatchet for like 20 seconds and then throw it. People might get annoyed at you, but people will get annoyed at you for every other thing you do on her. So
it's not even on her specifically. They'll just get annoyed at you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like hold your hatchets so you can get comfortable with your aim and stuff, and study maps. If you want to get good at her, this is like an intermediate tip. Go into customs and just look at maps and look at things you might be able to throw through and things you might not be able to throw through or throw over, because learning those is how you catch people off guard and get much faster downs than you would in a lot of scenarios. That, in my opinion, is way more fun. If you're going for like competitive playstyle, you don't want to do that because you're wasting a lot of time if they know about them. But like for me, that's the most fun. So that's what I always recommend.
As someone that has a series explaining hitboxes, I 100% agree. I get a lot of hits just because people don't know them. And I do.
And it's fun. There you go.
And it's fun. You know, enjoy what you enjoy. I have a little bit of an idea for what you're going to say for this next one here, just because we kind of vaguely talked about it earlier. But of course, you can talk about multiple things if you want. You don't have to just bring up the movement speed. if you could change anything at all about the killer itself, like accessibility, kit, balance, vibe, anything, what would you change? And if there's anything problematic, would you get rid of it? I don't
Yeah,
think
definitely, definitely what I mentioned earlier, Soldier's Boots base kit would be really nice. If they don't do that, making her the like 112.5 movement speed would also be good. I think it's one or the other. I don't think she needs both. If they do one or the other, I'm fine with that. And then nerf wind up add-ons. They're still broken. But that's kind of it. I feel like everything else about Huntress is pretty locked and dialed. And
I really like glowing concoction personally.
I actually don't think I've run glowing concoction in like a year and a half.
I just like auras. I think they're neat.
I run for aura reading, but for some reason, for me, I love being able to hit somebody with a hatchet and then not know where they are and then predict where they are and then hit them again. That's really fun to me.
And again, speaking from experience, it feels like I got clowned on every time. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to the mirror. Let me get the clown makeup out. It's like I get two tapped and I can't even see him. You know, it's terrible.
The amount of over structure hits I get that people are just like, huh? Those are great.
No, but like legitimately, the second I find out it's a Huntress now, after you like, you know, did a little bit of trolling to my psyche, I will look to the sky. The second I hear a hatchet get thrown anywhere, I'm like, I'm not going in a compilation again. It's not gonna happen. I can't.
I'm so glad I've had that much of a mental impact.
Yeah, it's like if I get hit by I don't know how often you're by my streams, but every single time I am against a Huntress and I get hit by something that's just whack, like just a whack hit, I'm like, okay, it's Squirtle. It's usually not, but when it is, I'm like, I knew it. I called it wrong the last 5 times, but I knew it.
But this time I knew it.
I knew it.
There's a couple people who I run into that are like that. It's very fun.
Yeah, for sure. And just like, it's really cool getting recognized. I have that happen now. It's like, whoa, oh my god, you know me? Wow.
Oh my gosh. I think one of my favorite, like, recognizing things that's happened to me was one of my friends sent me a picture of a survivor in their lobby named SquirtleSurgeon's son.
That's crazy.
No idea who they were. They just really liked my Huntress. It was really funny.
Bro doesn't even know his son. What the hell?
I know. Horrible father.
All right. So as far as, you know, Huntress updates and all that, we've definitely had some updates in the past. There was that, there was a PTB or something where she had like higher held speed or higher move speed or something that got walked back, the same PTB. But how would you say that updates have treated you? And would you say that they were fair buffs or nerfs?
This is a fun one that I think applied more like a year ago to a year and a half ago, but still kind of applies, is for a very long time, every map update that was happening, graphical rework, gameplay rework, whatever, every update was like a shadow nerf to Huntress. It was like constant adding things that just added more breaking line of sight every update. And it was awful. It felt so bad.
And that was kind of the next question too, is like, how is the game itself changing treated you, like as far as, you know, perks, maps, full reworks, etc.?
Yeah, as they've added more things for like stealth killers, Huntress gets hurt by it a lot. Just because it's like, oh, we have more stealth killers. We need to give them more stuff that they can hide behind, which also means stuff that Huntress doesn't necessarily benefit from.
Gotcha. I was thinking you were meaning more like perks or something, like, you know, Trail of Torment. I'm like, how's this hurt Huntress? What's the lore here?
I mean, Distortion.
Yeah, I mean, they killed Distortion. You know, thank God. Appreciate it. Thank you, behavior.
Thank goodness. I'm so glad.
I'm so glad.
Man, I hated that perk. Also, something that I think is very underrated against Huntress that is really strong is Survivor Aura reading against Huntress.
So, you know,
like,
she
Object
can,
of Obsession,
like, yeah.
One of her biggest counters, straight up. If you're running Object against a Huntress, you can have crazy advantages.
Just because, like, you can see her throwing hatchets, you can see her when she sees you with an aura, like, etc., etc.
And because she's 110, you have way more opportunity to position yourself.
That's true. And my penultimate question here is actually one that I got from Super Alf. So, you know, talking about adding questions type deal.
Shout out Alf.
Shout out Alf. He was the video before this one. You should check it out. How long do you think Dead by Daylight is going to last?
I've thought about that for a long time. I definitely think it'll hit 10 years. I feel like 10 years is a given at this point, unless they do something
egregiously
Absolutely bizarre. Yeah, like this is, I don't know what they could possibly do.
Bring back old BNP smile.
The OG one. Yeah, that'll be great.
Complete my generator.
Just instantly. Yeah, that's fun.
I have no idea. Like, I didn't play during that time period, but like, I have no idea what they were smoking. Like, just hearing
also,
it.
like Mori on first down.
Yeah,
That was a decision.
I lived through like Colubrine Eruption Overcharge. Like, that was my like tale I'm telling the kids when I'm old and gray and I'm unk. You know, when I hit 30. Like, I have no idea what they were smoking with some of these ideas. I'm not gonna lie. Like, sure, like in 2016, like breaking the Trapper's Trap. Sure, that's like, you know, an idea. There's like 3 killers. We got to interact with them somehow. It's a interesting idea, but like B&P instantly completing a gen, insta down Mori's, old dead hard, rest in piss Bozo. Like,
yeah, it was. They were definitely decisions that were made.
but I feel like as far as they've been going so far recently with like countering stuff like that, I'm not gonna shout him out, but like the chess merchant that played against Eternal and got them to like what 50 minutes or something just to prove a point.
Minutes.
And like they did add the like anti-gen kick, so like, you know, it's like that one saying where, you know, safety guidelines are written in blood or whatever. Like, and they do change things like when they're super bad. I just wish they were a little quicker sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes they'll make changes that are like really bizarre, and it's like, okay, well, you did 4 changes to one thing in one patch, and now you don't know what the problem is. You know, it's like we could have smaller patches more often would be cool in my opinion, but again, just I'm not a game designer. I don't know how to ideas, you know, that's my thing. I like thinking occasionally.
Thinking good.
I love thinking. And now for our very last question here, this is like, what? Jesus Christ. Now for our very last question here, what would make you drop Huntress 100%? I don't mean like stop maining her. I mean like I'm never playing her again. This is terrible. Like say a change or a new character from a license that you've been feral for, been waiting for years, etc. Like what would kill her for you?
Oh, absolutely. If they just like limited her ability to like throw through objects or like her range in any way. I think if they, for whatever reason, changed range or like the amount of things that you can throw through, like hitboxes in that sense of like small holes, stuff like that, if they just got rid of it, I would not be playing her anymore. And I low-key probably might not even play killer anymore. I might switch back to survivor at that point because I think that's where her skill ceiling comes from. And I think that's just what is entertaining about her. And as soon as you remove those elements, she just becomes a really boring run-of-the-mill middle range killer again.
Yeah, it's kind of what they've been doing with stuff like Skull Merchant, Trickster, I think even recently Chucky, just like removing stuff that, you know, people enjoy the killer for. Like if, you know, a little bit about Nemesis, right? Like you can drag the whip.
Yeah.
If they remove that, that is like just his skill expression gone. Like he is just, I'm going to hit tier 2 and then I'm going to M1 the rest of the game. And the tier 2 is for pallets. Like that would be it. There wouldn't be like, oh, I'm rewarded for going for this. It's just, it would suck.
Absolutely.
Just keep our skill expression. Thank you. Very cool.
That'd be very nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you. This is just kind of the outro section. So if you just want to like yap a little, you know, give us all your links where we can find you. If you have anything cooking up, I don't know if you have a cat that you want to put a picture here of. I'll put that on screen.
I make music. People don't know I make music. I make music.
Under
I don't promote it very well. It's under the name Surgeon, SURGN.
Okay.
I'm releasing a song in like a week.
I don't think this video will be out in a week, so it might be out by the time you watch this video.
If it's out right now. Link right here, baby. Let's go.
And then boom, it's on screen. And then like, you know, your Twitter, your YouTube, your anything else.
Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, SquirtleSurgeon on everything. I have not streamed in a long time. I promise I want to still.
Soon TM, trust.
Trust. Yeah, that's about it. I don't got a whole lot else going on. I'm in school right now.
What are you in school for? If you want to share it with the class.
I'm a film and media production major.
That's cool as hell.
So, trying to make my way into Hollywood at some point. Smile.
Yeah. If you ever need an actor, hit me up, Smile.
I have too many of those people, that's for sure.
Oh, come on, I'm cool.
But I'm so cool, like...
I'm so cool. Remember me when you make it big.
I will.
Okay.
I'll remember you as hello, God.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here on this little thing of mine. We only forgot to do this like for 2 weeks in a row because we kept forgetting that we planned it for the next day. This is not a bit.
This isn't a bit. We did this 4 times. Like,
I forgot it was today even until my alarm went off 30 minutes beforehand. So yeah.
And I was an hour late.
I mean, technically you were an hour
to
early.
get here.
You were an hour early. I just set the alarm early.
Oh, I guess that is true.
But yeah, we made it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me. Go check out SquirtleSurgeon on links here on your screen, and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.